In this second video, we're going to cover coterminal angles and reference angles. So the definition of a coterminal angle is that when an angle is in standard position and it has the same terminal side as another angle, it's known to be coterminal. So what does that mean? It means if I'm going to look at this, let me get myself another color. If I'm going to look at my angle in standard position right here. Well, this is theta. This is a big one that we'll be using for angles. And if I go, I'm going in clockwise, right? So it's going to be negative. And let's just estimate what this would be. Well, from here to here is 90 degrees. So that's a little bit more. So I'm going to say this is about negative 120 degrees. And hopefully that sits well with you. So that is the angle. Now, if I wanted to find the coterminal angle, I start at the initial side and I'm just going to go another direction. But I'm starting and ending at the same place. It's just taking a different direction. So if that's going to complete the revolution, right, one full circle, that would be the leftover of 360. So that would be positive 240 degrees because I'm going counterclockwise. So these angles right here, positive 240 and negative 120 degrees, those are known as coterminal angles. So once again, it's you start and end at the same place. So, it's like walking to your friend's house. You either walk directly there or you take the long route and you stop a couple places and then you end up there. Doesn't matter because you started and ended at the same place. Now, example 1 is negative 150 degrees, coterminal with 210 degrees. I'll let you think about that for a second. And it would be, right? True. Because if this is negative 150, then to go counterclockwise would be the leftover of the full revolution. So you could have done 360 minus 150, and we get 210 degrees. So it works out. Now, how many coterminal angles does negative 150 degrees have? Well, you can go around this as many times as you'd like, or you could go around, oh, yellow's not the best color, huh? Or I could go around this way as many times as I'd like. So you could keep going in either direction. The only thing to be coterminal is you start and end at the same place. So this is infinitely many. Right? It would get really boring, but you could keep going around and around and around. So example 2, I want you to draw the angle, identify which quadrant it's in, and then we're going to find a coterminal angle. So 135 degrees. Now let's actually make a point that this is, remember, we always want to start in standard position. So this would be 0 degrees. If we go counterclockwise, this would be 90 degrees, right? If I go from here to here. And then I keep going. Hopefully you're okay with that. This would be 180 degrees. I go another 90. So that's why this would be 270 degrees. And I make one full rotation, revolution, and I get 360 degrees. So if I want 135 degrees and it's positive, that's a little bit bigger than 90 degrees. So that's why we would be in quadrant 2. And let me refresh our memory maybe. This is quadrant 1. This is quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. So once again, always draw your angle in standard position. My vertex is on that origin. My initial side is with the positive x-axis. In 135, I'm approximating. This is about 135 degrees. Now, if you want a coterminal angle, I didn't give you any restrictions. So you could give me a positive one, you could give me a negative one. I'm going to go ahead and find a negative one. Well, that would be, I'm going to start here because coterminal, you start and end at the same spot. And let me be clear, when you are drawing your angles, show the reader which direction you're going in. So if that's the leftover of the circle, I'm going to do 360, take away 135. This would be negative 225 degrees would be coterminal. And there's many out there. So sometimes, you know, my math lab will give you some restrictions on what you have to answer with, or it's free reign. Okay, so B, negative 120 degrees. Well, I'm going to start here. Always align it with the positive x-axis. And now negative 120 degrees. Well, from here to here is negative 90. So negative 120 will probably be about there. And I'm going to note. All right. So which quadrant is that in? That's in quadrant 3. And you can keep giving me a negative if you'd like. I'm going to decide to do a positive coterminal. So I'm going to do 360, take away that 120, and I get a positive 240 degrees. So that is the definition of coterminal angles. The next definition we're going to cover is reference angles. And this is really, really important because we will use these throughout the entire term. A reference angle, it's associated with every angle drawn in standard position. There is another angle known as the reference angle. The reference angle is always acute, okay? And it's formed by the terminal side and the x-axis. Reference angles may appear in all 4 quadrants. Angles in quadrant 1 are their own reference angles. So what in the heck does that mean? I'm going to go ahead and example 3 is asking for the reference angle for 150 degrees. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself a visual. And I'm going to draw 150 degrees. So I always start standard position. And 150 is about right here. So this is a positive 150 degrees. Your reference angle. So what it says is it's always formed by the terminal side, which is this piece, right? And the x-axis, so the closest one. So that would be this. So our reference angle here, let me go get some green, would just be this little piece. The really important thing is your reference angle is always positive and acute. Acute means less than 90 degrees. So if that's 150, what would be this leftover to get to this 180? So your reference angle then is 30 degrees here. So let's try another one. I'm going to give us 230 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and draw it in standard position. So 230, well, from here to here is 180. So I would need another 50, so I'm about right here. Now your reference angle, remember, is your terminal side and the angle between that terminal side and the closest x-axis, so this little piece. So we know that this is 180 degrees. So to get to 230, this would have to be 50 degrees. So that's your reference angle. The other piece it talks about is if you're in quadrant 1. So let's just make up an angle. I'm going to say this is 80 degrees. Well, your terminal side is here. And remember, to make your reference angle is you connect your terminal side to the closest x-axis. It is what it is. So that's why they're saying that your reference angle in the first quadrant is what it is. So my reference angle here is just 80 degrees. All right, see you next time.